Live. This is a special edition, crazy ass episode. We're gonna start off right now talking college hoops. Then we'll go into the Super Bowl. But college hoops, holy shit! We're on a little heater right now. We're 9 for 11 the last 2 days. 9 for 11. Hit a monstrous 6-7 game parlay Thursday or Wednesday night. I think your sound, Stevie. I'm not hearing you. I think I got you muted. All right, 1 second.
All right,
There you go.
I'm back.
He's back. He's a technology genius. All right. So
Heaters.
yeah, we're on a heater. We Thursday or Wednesday night we just we went absolutely ballistic.
What'd you do? Call Lou Brown during the day, and he just said, "Give him the heater, Howie."
Yeah, I literally we got crazy. I think we went
Teamers, Howie. I mean, that's some real deal Holyfield.
Yeah. We went. Yeah, that was Thursday night, and last night we had Ohio State with a bunch of stuff. And Ohio State was getting their asses handed to them.
Just smacked.
Smacked. They were getting crushed. And we were dead. And I texted Steve at halftime, and I said, "Hey, man, should we possibly double down and go hard in the paint second half?" And he said, "Yeah, let's do it." So I took Ohio State money line. I took them plus. What were they? Plus 7.5. Took them all over the place, and they came back.
Yeah.
They came back.
Got it done at home.
Dude, that was absolutely bizarre. That was
Howie, I don't know if it was so much Ohio State and more so Maryland they couldn't score it. They were turning it over. They were fouling. They weren't playing good basketball for the last 6 minutes of that half, and Ohio State snuck one out at home.
Yeah. I mean, and I needed it. I had them. You saw the parlays I had. I had them with a 3-game. I mean, it ended up being a damn good night, and I still got them going with a parlay tonight. I got them tonight. With Princeton.
Okay.
I got them with. I'll tell you right now. Because we took Oregon State late last night, 6.5. They won by 8.
Yep.
So I got Ohio State, Oregon State. They covered. I got Princeton money line, Dayton plus 1.5. We'll talk about that in a second because that line's crazy. Now they're plus 1.5 last night. Now they're minus 1.5. VCU's the underdog. Sharp money's going on Dayton. We got Boise State minus 13.5 at home against San Jose State. They could win by 30. St. Joseph's money line. I love St. Joseph's playing at home against anybody in Philly in that little high school gym. And then I got Auburn minus 9.5 Saturday. If I can hit 4 tonight, and it's $50 to pay $1,700. If I can hit 4 games tonight, then I'm good because I'll bet Florida Saturday. I don't care.
No,
I'll bet 4 or 5.
You're gonna win. You got 50 invested. You go throw a couple hundred on the other way, and you're a win-win.
I'll bet 400 or 500 on Florida and call it a day.
Yep.
Call it a day.
How you win.
Yeah. So, last night was a damn good night, man. Last night we were hard in the paint. I'm looking at my settle bets last night.
Hey, you got some games tonight too.
Yeah, we had. Yeah. And so tonight I got Princeton. I like Princeton over Penn. Mm-hmm. Dayton has gone from a 1.5 point favorite to or underdog to a 1.5 point favorite against VCU. VCU's a good team, but they're playing at Dayton. They always have problems at Dayton. It's tough playing at Dayton. I tend to like Dayton. The game I like, the one game that sticks out to me tonight is actually Saturday, not tonight. I'm looking tonight, and I'm not going to place probably too many bets tonight because I have this parlay going. And, I mean, I don't know. Who do you like tonight?
Well, you got Purdue taking on USC at home.
That's tonight. That's the game I got. Yeah.
Yep. Purdue, we always said they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough at home. and USC's coming across country here. Friday night game. I like it. It's a ton of points, Howie. Ton of points. Boilermakers are laying 14 in this one.
Yeah, too many.
It's a lot of points. So I don't know. That's a game to definitely take a look at because we said it. Purdue's tough at home. USC on the road. They're not horrible.
No, they've
4-3
beat some
against the
teams
number.
tough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's they've played some teams tough this year. I think they have a couple good athletes. They've beaten some decent teams. I would take USC with the 14. I could see them losing that game by 8 or 9.
Yeah. Yep. And then you got the big one, the big matchup, Big East here. You got 8 o'clock Fox. You got UConn. You got St. John's at UConn. That one's going to be at Gamble Pavilion there, Gamble Pavilion, Storrs, Connecticut.
What do you got for a line on that?
You got -3.5 UConn with over under of 141.5. I don't know.
There is no way in hell I could bet against Ricky Pitino.
Not right now.
I get the feeling he's going to go into Connecticut and just, put a diaper on Danny Hurley and just feed him some baby food. I just think that's going to happen. I think Danny's going to probably get a tier 2, get out coached every which way you possibly can. And St. John's has a better team. They have a better team.
I agree.
I mean, they're a juggernaut right now. They're just rolling. I can't bet against the Johnnies.
Are they looking at the Marquette game for UConn? Because, they put it to Marquette. I don't even want to. They put it to them. They beat them by 8. You beat them by 8 at Marquette, and now all of a sudden they're back. I don't know. The way that UConn's been playing, the way that they've been covering, geez, and that's not a far trip for the Johnnies. It's not like they're going far. I love it. This is a game where Rick Pitino's got it poster boarded everywhere. We're the dogs. We're the 2-time defending champs.
Yeah.
Let's go into their place and make a statement.
That's right.
Textbook.
I like them.
Johnnies.
I like them. I like them. Anything else tonight?
No, nothing else tonight.
Light slate. We get off tomorrow at noon with a bunch of games. Right off the bat, you got Texas Christian playing at Iowa State, who hasn't been playing great because they don't have their 6'8". That guy's a beast. Malaka chick, whatever the Eastern European crime syndicate, but he's a beast. He's 6'8", soft hands, can shoot it, rebounds, and he's still out with that hurt hand. I think they do enough to get it done at home. Might put him on a money. I don't see him losing 2 games in a row at home.
No.
I think they'll take care of business. They just have the guards. Then you got Tennessee going to Oklahoma. I don't see how you can bet Oklahoma. I mean, Tennessee's back to full strength. They got all their guys clicking.
We said it on the geez Louise, Doc, the Discord, geez Louise, the other night that one of the guys mentioned, he's like, Tennessee's an absolute wagon right now.
Yeah, they are.
And they'll lock you right down.
They're playing full strength. Going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's in trouble. The game I like, Michigan State coming off that atrocious West Coast trip, losing to USC, losing to UCLA. They're at home against Oregon. Oregon has trouble on the roads, not great. I think Michigan State turns it around tomorrow and locks Oregon up and possibly beats that team by 10, 15 points. We don't have a line on that game yet. It's not out. But I do like Michigan State.
Oregon's losers of 4 straight, 2-8 in their last 10 against the number. Michigan State's definitely going to be laying some points at home here, but maybe get a smaller number because they're coming off back-to-back losses themselves, like you said. So maybe you get a short number on the Sparties and you jump on them here at home coming back from the West Coast.
That's right. I think so. Other game right here, you got, Michigan goes to Indiana. That'll be an interesting line. It should be close. That line should be, even though it's in Indiana, you might see
Mike Woodson said, they said see you later in Bloomington. I think you talked about him the last week that he's riding the struggle bus.
Yeah.
And he's
There's
Paisley's
no.
waving the white towel.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see that game. I can see a lot of points being scored in that game. Probably not a lot of defense played
No.
on IU's part. It looks like those guys have packed it in. They just decent players. Good.
Yeah.
They just
No,
can't put it
good
together.
recruiting. Another team that's lost 4 in a row.
Yeah. The other game I kind of like here. Kansas playing great ball right now. Going into Kansas State, there's your rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that line's going to be. You might see Kansas -3.5, -4 playing at Kansas State, who's got a decent squad. Kansas State has some players, so that I don't have a pick on that game yet. I've not a feeling. I do have one on the next game. Marquette going to Creighton. Creighton's playing good ball.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they're moving the ball well. They're shooting it. I mean, is he the best big guy in the country? Got to be top 3.
Yeah, he's up there. We got 5 in a row for Creighton, and they're winning. They're winning at a pretty good clip here, Howie. They've had one close game to Villanova at Villanova. You said it. That's always a tough place to go and play.
Yeah.
And they've slapped Providence, Xavier, Seton Hall, and DePaul. They're looking good. 9-0-1 in their last 10 against the number is great.
Yes, that's why I like them. The next game, I absolutely have it circled. I don't even know what the line is yet, but Texas A&M, who is very good, is going into Missouri. I love this Missouri team. They lost to Tennessee by 4, but if you watch Missouri play, it's a bunch of 23, 24-year-old guys. At least they don't care. Nothing intimidates them. They play tough.
Yeah.
They'll play anyway. They'll play you in your backyard. They don't give a shit, and they play loose. They have no problem like just tossing a 3 up and a tight. I like Missouri. I like them at home. I don't care what the line is. I'm taking Missouri Saturday.
Yeah, no, and they're doing well against the number as well. 8-2 in their last 10.
Love this team.
6-2 as a dog. So if they're getting some points, maybe it's even more so. You back the Tigers in that one.
Yeah. Other game you got Florida, 9.5-point dog going to Auburn. Well, here's the problem. We don't know if Walter Clayton's playing or not. I mean, that's if he doesn't play, you can't bet Florida. He's their guard.
Yeah.
So he's hurt. They're not listing him. He's questionable. I can't touch it until I see what's going on with that. What do you think, Pitt at your school, UNC?
I don't know. I'm so down on them right now. Carolina's probably going to be laying a few points here.
Yeah.
They play a bit tough at home. They can't seem to travel there and win. So what I think Carolina was laying 4 at Pitt 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Did they look so bad on Saturday night? I know they got a week off. I know Hubert's out there in the news talking about signing a GM and yada, yada, yada. I don't give a shit. They're soft. They're soft.
Yeah.
And they're not playing good basketball. They're not playing defense. They're turning the ball over on offense. They don't look good at all right now. So I couldn't, with any degree of confidence, back the Tar Heels right now at all.
I got you. The other game I kind of like, you got Houston going at Colorado. I don't know. I don't like this Colorado team. I don't care where they're playing. They're playing Houston. Houston's probably going to be given 9.5, 10. I might use it. I might use an alt spread and whittle it down a little, but I don't see Houston losing.
No. Not the way they're playing.
No. The game I have circled. I have another game circled. I don't care what the line is here. This team's made me more money than just about any college this year. You got Mississippi State going into Georgia. I don't bet against Georgia at home. I don't care who they're playing. They have, Blue Cane, kid can shoot the shit out of it. They got a couple beasts down low. They play tough D. They just play well at home.
You mentioned it. You mentioned Georgia at home numerous times. 11-5 ATS this year at home.
Okay, this is great. My camera just.
Uh-oh. I'm here. How is it still recording me? I think I'm still recording, brother. I'll keep this train rolling here. You got another game Saturday evening. You got a Big Ten matchup with Illinois going to Minnesota to take on the Gophers at 6 o'clock. That one, you're probably going to see Illinois laying some points. Minnesota, 6-4 in their last 10. Illinois struggles on the road. ATS. Illinois is 2-7 ATS. So look out for maybe the Gophers to steal one here at home on Saturday night. Anything prime time? You got Clemson, Duke. We talked about them the last podcast. Clemson, we got a line on this one. Clemson's getting 7.5 at home. Over under on that one is 134.5. So it's a game to definitely circle. I would have to take the points and go with the Tigers at home. Duke is 2-6 against the number away, and Clemson is 8-6. Let's see what these guys matched up. Totally different team. Howie, I kept it rolling. I kept the show going. He's back. He's out. He's back. He's out. He's in. He's out. It's like his sex game, right? In and out. Last year, you can't even go off of last year because they got two different teams. Howie, I kept it rolling. I went to a couple of games here. I went with the Gophers. I can't hear you. Got no volume. Did you mute yourself? Unmute. Mute it. Bottom of the mic, is it muted? Is your mic muted? See your lips moving, but I don't hear anything. Damn you, Riverside. Can you hear me? Huh. Your mic's muted. Still got nothing. Those motherfucking mother.
Let me try this.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back with the shitty mic, but I'm back.
Oh, okay. You're back.
No idea. Let me try one more time and see if this is like, all right. How about now?
Yeah, you're good. I got you.
Hey. Jeez.
I kept it rolling a little bit. I went the Gophers, Illinois. Illinois struggles on the road, 2-7 in their last 9 away from home, away from Champaign. Minnesota's playing decent of late, so I said maybe, you can catch the Gophers getting some points at home dog on Saturday evening. And then Duke Clemson. We talked about Duke Clemson earlier. We talked about Clemson in previous podcasts about just being a tough, scrappy team. They're getting 7.5 at home against the Dukies. This Duke team is young. This Clemson team is experienced, seasoned vets there. We talked about the Scheffline kid being there for his 9th year. So I would possibly take some points with the Tigers at home on Saturday night against the Dukies.
They'll give them a game.
Yeah.
The only other game I love that night, and this team's been a juggernaut moneymaker for me, is Siena. Siena's playing Ryder. I can't bet against them. They continue to cover.
Yep.
We're making money. It is what it is. So that's it. Look at this. Mehu, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's roll.
How's
That's
it
my
going?
boy Steve. Steve,
How are
that's
you?
Mehu. He's the freaking human algorithm. He's got all kinds
Love
of
it.
stuff that we're going to bank on this Super Bowl. So that's college hoops, everybody. Decent slate tomorrow. Look, you see what we have tonight. We got parlays going. We hit our last 9 out of 11 games, which is wild. We made some good cash this week. So let's get into the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 69. I don't know what the hell number it is, but
You love that number, Howie. Favorite number?
it's my favorite. It's my favorite. Yep. got me in a lot of trouble over the years. But we have, hey, we got a Super Bowl. What's Kansas City? Is this their fifth out of the last 6 years or something? It's every year. It's
5 out of 6, man.
Five
Five
out of
out of
six.
six.
And they're up against the Eagles. The line has not moved much. People have an idea. You're either on KC or you're from the East Coast. I think Joe Public tends to be on Kansas City. You throw in a lot of people. It's tough to bet against them. Every single year they're there, they're winning. And you got the conspiracy theorists who think the refs are already in the pocket, or the NFL commissioner. But Mayhew, you have a good perspective. And, dude, tell us your theory of what. Look, I was on Kansas City last week. I was on Kansas City. Mayhew's totally changed my mind. And I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm with a couple other bets. But go ahead, Mayhew. Tell us who you are.
You're taking Eagles straight up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Minus 102 money line.
Yeah, so what I've been doing all year is, you guys are probably familiar with the PFF grades that they give to these players. I believe Chris Collinsworth owns the company, and so that's one of the reasons why it's always flashed on his Monday night broadcast. And basically, PFF takes every snap and grades every single player on that particular snap, and they do this every game for the whole week. Because they want to keep their data kind of proprietary, what they also do is they give you no ability to go look at past weeks. They don't give you any average scores. They do nothing but give you really static information. And so what I did is I did the tedious task of every freaking week taking it and putting it into a spreadsheet, which sucks. But I will say this was by far the best year I had betting on football, and maybe it was.
You turned 500 into like 10G.
Yeah, I mean, I started with $500. I ran it up to 10, and what I will say that PFF allowed me to do was I was like, I'm gonna stop doing what I always do is I'd spread it out, and then on Sunday morning I'll be like, I might win $28,000 if I hit all these bets, and I'd win $80. And so this made me and forced me to be like, okay, do what you hate to do and tease a 1 o'clock game and a 4 o'clock game so my blood pressure will go up for 7 straight fucking hours. That's what I did to myself for 18 weeks. I am in worse health, but my bank account is larger, so I'm happy about that. And so what I did was, I'm going to share the screen here. Hopefully this works. I'm going to share my screen. And let's see. Share. Is this working, Howie?
Don't see it.
You don't see it. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can do.
It says right here, look at this. Mill's browser needs screen sharing permission. Okay.
Share it up, Howie. Give him the permission.
Now, it always says chat with support, which I love. I don't want to chat with support. We're talking fucking gambling right now.
Can you see this?
No.
No. I guess I got to go in and switch some. That's wild.
You can definitely do it on Zoom. I don't know how to do it on Riverside.
You know what I gotta do? I gotta go back and take a course on Riverside.
Here, I'll give you the lowdown here.
Yeah, you can tell us.
Yeah, so what I did was basically I take the entire defense and you take their grades, and the way PFF would break these things down for the defensive line, obviously, what's their grade against the run, what's the grade against the pass, what's their coverage, which isn't that important with defensive ends. Same with the linebackers. What's their coverage grade? What's their pass rush? What are they against the run? And same with the corners, right? And so then I'd break all of these things down, right? And so when you break all of those things down, if you were to take the average grade, let's say of every defensive line, the 4 guys that are out there, the Philadelphia Eagles grade second among the entire league. Their linebackers, believe it or not, this was always surprising, but I track this every week. Number one. As far as grades by PFF, it is the number one on average. The linebacker unit is graded number one. That doesn't mean they have the best linebacker in NFL. What it means is they have, as a unit, on average, they are ranked number one versus the rest of the league. And their secondary was second, which I thought was pretty surprising. Like, you would think, oh, the Broncos with Surtain, they would be Surtain ranks very high, but on average, so sorry, the defensive line was third. They were third. They weren't second. So they're in the top three for each position, right? So bottom line, they have a very good defense. Now compare that to the Chiefs. Chiefs are also, they rank pretty high too. Their defensive line was fourth, linebackers seventh, and their secondary was fourth. So positionally, they're very good. And I was like, okay, so now let's break it down a little bit further, right? Against the run, just against the run. Now this is the 11-man unit. This isn't just the defensive line and the linebackers. As an 11-man unit, on average, when you take all 18 weeks and you average this out against the run, this is a surprising one. Chiefs, number one graded against the run, and the Eagles 21st, which I thought with that defensive line, but the thing is, it takes into consideration the secondary, the linebackers helping as well. Against the pass rush, though, Chiefs drop to 11th, and the Eagles are second. And for coverage, which is primarily, the linebackers and the secondary, that really, it's weighted heavily with that, obviously, because your defensive tackle isn't going out into coverage.
So all these statistical things right here, when you add everything up and you have A versus B, Chiefs versus Eagles, where are you leaning?
I'm leaning towards the Eagles, right? Because they really, their only weakness is against the run, right? Because again, coverage, they're number one as an 11-man unit. They are number one. They've got an amazing secondary. Their secondary grades on coverage are amazing. And I know Dean went down, but Burks has come in. His PF grades have been equal to his. So he's been playing as well as he has. Casey's coverage is good. They're fifth, but which guy? Cook.
So basically,
Cook is weak.
Kareem Hunt could have a decent day.
He could have a decent day. Their offensive line's ranked 10th to run the ball. He could have a decent day, but the Eagles' defense is, one of the reasons I think that their run defense ranks low is that's all you can do against them. They're very, very difficult to pass against.
It tells me, from what you're telling me, Joe Public, you ask anybody, and they're going to say, who are you taking for DFS? Oh, man, I'm all over Travis Kelce in a big game. They don't have a big game if you look at Philly's defense.
If you look at their linebackers and their coverage grades, I would not take that. I wouldn't.
If you want to look at a tight end, look at Dallas Goedert. Chiefs struggle.
Yeah, that's what we said. That's my guy.
Chiefs struggle guarding the tight end this year.
That's the prop that I like the most.
You can get, I think it's like plus 165 for 60 or more receiving yards for Goddard. Good value.
No, I think it's good value because the corners can they can cover. McDuffie can cover. I assume he's going to shadow A.J. Brown. They can cover pretty well. I think that Goddard, though, could have a pretty decent game. I mean, and the other thing with Goddard is you saw it in the last game. They're throwing him the screens.
Yeah.
Right? He caught 3 screens like that, and he's so big and he's so quick. He gets 7-8 yards before he even gets touched. Right? And he's got A.J. Brown's a great blocker. Right? He actually is a willing blocker. So when you're on that side, when he's on that side of the field, I could see him having a good first half. They probably want to settle in Hurts. They don't want him turning the ball over.
No, I think I agree. I think it's going to be a game where they're going to try to do, it's going to keep the chains moving, keep the clock moving. Chiefs don't allow rushers to beat them. So they're going to use those wide receiver weapons and their tight ends, and they're going to go after them short, slants.
I agree 100%. I think that they're going to try to mimic the run with those screen passes, right? I mean, we've seen that, and that's the trend in football for a long time. And you look at KC's run defense, and, I tracked this all year. They never really dipped below 5th when you take a look at the PFF grades. Yeah, there's some weeks where, somebody busts a long run. But when you add up all their plays, on average, this team is so disciplined against the run.
They didn't give up a 100-yard rusher to a single guy this year, right?
Yeah, I don't believe they did.
I'm almost positive they haven't. And then I think it's like 18 straight playoff games that they haven't allowed a rusher to have more than 100 yards.
And I recognize they played the Ravens in week 1, but even the Ravens, after, signing Derrick Henry, losing the championship game to them because they didn't run the ball enough, he didn't get 100 yards.
No, right. Exactly.
Right? He didn't get 100 yards because those guys on the sidelines of Baltimore know, they are a very good run-stopping defense, right? So Mahomes is likely going to be forced to pass the ball, but then when I look at the Eagles' coverage grades, it is going to be really hard to pass against this.
And their secondary is what they're known for.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're going to be hard to pass against. So, Pacheco and Hunt, they're going to have a big game, but I still feel like the Eagles in this matchup, their defense is so solid across the board. And they don't do anything that exotic with their secondary as far as blitzing guys. They don't really bring them down to do that. And because of that, it's I don't know, they're going to be playing them straight up. And I actually like the Eagles a lot.
Well, now, with that being said, you like the Eagles. What do you think? And this number hasn't changed either. What do you think of the total number, 48.5? What do you think of that, Steve?
I'm wearing the shirt for you, Howie. Can you read it? Real men bet unders. I'm going under on this one. I think this is a grinded out game. I think that the Chiefs are not going to be able to do what they normally do on offense. They really haven't had that dynamic of an offense this whole entire year. I just think this game is going to be a grinded out game on both sides of the ball. I think Philly, like we mentioned, they're going to be hitting those short slants, keep those chains rolling, keep that clock running. I like the under 48.5 in this Super Bowl.
I do too. I mean, so I was going to tease this. I was going to take Eagles plus 7.5, but under 54, because I don't, like what Steve said, one, you're going to run the ball with Barkley. You're going to chew clock, and even if they don't, they're going to throw short passes. Hurts is going to run the ball. I don't think that the Eagles are going in there trying to think we need as many possessions as possible. I think what they're saying is we have to limit the amount of possessions that are going to be in this game. And, I don't know. I do think it's a grind them out game. And the one weakness the Chiefs do have, there are two guys on that offensive line that are just not very good. The left guard sucks. I mean, he's terrible. And you look at they've had a problem there all season long, and it hasn't been quite exposed. But even with the guy Taylor, the right tackle, he's okay. I mean, they literally had to move Tooney, who's their all-pro guy, to tackle. So I think it's a grind them out game. I could see it being, something like 23-17, 24-17, 24-20, something like that. I do think it's still going to be a relatively close game. But, these are two. I think the quarterbacks get a lot of hype in this, but when you look at the quality of both of these defenses, if an alien came down here and was looking at this, they'd be like, oh, this is going to be a defensive game. These are two really good defenses that are playing each other.
Take away the Mahomes factor of all this and the Eagles' history of being in the Super Bowl and always getting it done. If you were an outsider looking in and didn't know much about these two teams, you would say this
Yeah.
game's probably going to be a low-scoring event.
Probably, and like the Chiefs, I guess similarly to like most of Brady's Super Bowls, they're all close.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like they're winning by 14,
Blowing teams out.
17 points. There's not a lot of blowouts, right? And I feel like the under feels pretty good. Like, yeah, you know, primarily because these defenses are that good. Like they're as advertised. The Eagles' defense all season long has been stellar.
So if I was to, let's say, and I am going to do this, let's say I pump up the Eagles from +1.5 to +3.5, which is that's what I'm going to do. And I pump the over/under up to, I don't know, 52.5, 53.5. Give me one or two props to add to that. What are two of the best props?
I mean, I like the Goddard over a lot. I mean, I like his receptions over and his yards over. That's if somebody said, "What's your best one?" That is going to be my best one. I mean, if you wanted to take a risk, maybe it's Xavier Worthy, because if the Chiefs start getting kind of jammed here a little bit, you could see a screen. You could see them trying to use his speed because he's literally their only game breaker. They just simply do not have anyone else on that offense that can get chunk yards other than, you know, Mahomes making a spectacular play. So there's a chance of that. But I like the Goddard over on receptions, over on yards. I'd even almost consider an anytime touchdown with him because they might scheme him up. That's a little bit more of a risk.
Anytime touchdown for Dallas Goedert's +310. That's good. That's good value.
It's good. I wouldn't put it into what you
parlay.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it into that
Put that
parlay.
separate.
I would do that maybe as a standalone. But I think they're going to have to throw him the ball. Like, that is their best matchup, you know, by far.
What do you
No,
think, Steve?
no, I like it too, and I actually like in talking about these short routes and short passes, I like Devontae Smith over 5+ receiving yards. You're getting plus money on that as well, so maybe take a look at that. If you're trying to beef up a parlay, you know, to get maybe a 4 or 5 legger, it's hard to say that Jalen Hurts isn't going to get a tush-push touchdown.
Right.
I think he's
very
-110 right now, anytime touchdown, but it's almost inevitable that if they get that ball in the red zone, they're going to get it within 2-3 yards. They're tush-pushing their way into the end zone with Jalen Hurts. So it's something to take a look at, especially if you're just looking for that extra boost in your parlay to maybe get you an extra couple $100.
Now, the one, I don't know if it's on all the sites, if you can pick a defensive player getting a sack, if you can get a specific player. I like Milton Williams getting a sack in this game because that left guard is bad. I mean, he's bad. And Milton Williams, like, low-key, is a really, really good pass rusher. I mean, I think he is going to get to Mahomes. Is he going to get
especially Mahul, if they're focusing on the other 3 guys that are coming at him, not to mention a couple blitzes here and there, you take that weak, you know, the weak offensive lineman and you know, push him right into Mahomes.
Milton Williams for if you're a PFF nerd like I've become, he's got a 91 grade for pass rush, and he has played a lot of snaps. 91 is, you know, you're talking Myles Garrett is probably at 96, right? So you're starting to get up into Pro Bowl territory here. He's their highest graded pass rusher, and he's going up against that guard in all likelihood, right? Because they'll probably put, you know, one of the linebackers over Tooney. I think he will get to Mahomes, but you have to have that. You know, I know not every single site has, you know, the defensive props. But I think for the Super Bowl, they've kind of expanded a lot. I've taken that. I mean, I'm definitely taking that because that is
FanDuel's got it, or DraftKings has it.
I'll tell you, FanDuel has a pretty good play. You can bet up to $250 on anything you want in this game, and it's a no sweat token. In other words, if you lose, you get a $250 credit. I kind of like that.
Milton Williams is plus 243 for a sack.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's moved down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I got it at like 250. I think, but I have that one locked in. I like that one a lot. I mean, I think it's going to be Caliendo playing. It doesn't matter. They have nobody to put into the left guard slot. No.
Can you guys see the TV behind my head?
Yeah.
Does Chris the Bear Felica have a face for radio? He is one ugly son of a bitch. I'm looking in my camera here, looking at him in my background, going, "How is that ugly bastard on television?"
I know. That's some Halloween shit right there. I'm nervous.
No, HD is not his friend.
No.
He's got to go back to basic.
There he is. He's back.
Dude, that guy looks like
Fester with glasses.
Dude, that's like somebody you would not want as a teacher's aide for your 4th grade kid.
No, dude, that's like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. I love him though. I love it. I love what his content with the game.
Yeah, he's great. He's good with college football.
Yes.
For Steve. So that's it. I mean, so that's pretty much, we all agree. We think this could be low scoring. We think the Eagles have a shot to win this. Dallas Goedert, a big day. I'm going with all these things. And it should be an interesting game. I would love nothing better to see a 10-7 half. That would be beautiful.
You got that in squares?
I'm not sure. I got like 3 squares. I don't even know what they are. I got them. Brooks Tavern down here. I got a few of them, but I don't know. I've never been lucky with squares, ever.
You know what game this reminds me of? I mean, these offenses are a little bit better, but like when the Rams played the Patriots the second time, with Aaron Donald and the Patriots those two defenses were kind of similar in the sense they're both pretty well coached and they had players, and that was a really low scoring game. And they had, the Patriots had Gronk, the Rams had Goff and Gurley and Cooks, and they I don't know if Kupp was playing in that game. I think he was. So it could be we've had some low scoring games. I think that first half, they're probably gonna feel each other out. But I agree with Steve. Like I see a grinded out game, and bringing the play clock down to 10, 11 seconds early. Like that's gonna be a big thing. If you start seeing them bring that play clock early down to like 8 seconds, 7 seconds, breaking the huddles late, that means both teams, if you're thinking about doing an in game, if I start to see that, I'm putting more on the under. If I start seeing these guys kind of slowly get to the line of scrimmage, that basically means their coaches are telling them shorten the game, and we're going to try to win a close game.
This is the over-under is 100% fade the public because it's 80-20 on the over right now.
Well,
Joe Public's all over.
People want a high score, but it's just not reality. It's
no.
And there are, that's what's being pushed, like on the media for sure, that this is going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
I saw Stephen A. Smith talking about that, and he's like, no, this is going to be back and forth, and I was like, but. The Chiefs don't have back and forth players. No, not against that Eagles defense.
Yeah, it's just they're not going to go down the field. They're not going to, you're not going to see 30 plus, receiving yards on a chunk.
I just don't see it. Like the games where the Eagles gave up a lot of points was when Hurts got a concussion against the Commanders late in the season. And, I don't mean these points they gave up to the Commanders, the game was out of hand. Like, they were basically just, playing soft prevent. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And, they gave up 22 points to the Rams in the snow. But in normal conditions, that Green Bay Packers game resembles more how the Eagles play week to week than any other game, where they're just going to be super physical. And it's just hard to get big plays against them. It's really hard to get big plays when you have a secondary that does not really blitz and doesn't do anything that exotic. And I think Jalen Carter he's Warren Sapp. I mean, that's how he plays. This guy he's modern day Warren Sapp, and he's a beast, man. Like the Chiefs are gonna have their hands full, and this is gonna be tough to drive against this team constantly.
Well, there it is,
I like
man.
the under.
That's what we have. We got the under. We got the Eagles. We got some props on Cotter. That's what you have here from the Degenerate Gamblers, and we're gonna be going forward. Steve and I will continue to crush college basketball. Millou's gonna do NBA. That's what he does. I go to Nets games with him. He's got seats like 3 feet from the court.
It's great. The Nets are.
Did they release Ben Simmons today, or did they? Something happened.
I don't know if
with
they
Ben
released
Simmons.
him. So I know his contract is up at the end of the year.
Yep.
But he hasn't played in like. If they can release him and it doesn't hurt their cap, I think they will, man. The guy doesn't play. I mean, he makes $500,000 a game.
They're buying him out. They are buying him out, and he's going to meet with the Cavs and the Clippers today.
Oh my God!
Say goodbye. You're not going to miss him. Obviously, it's been non-existent.
There should be a clause. I mean, with the NIL and everything, he should be able to go back to LSU for a year, work on his jumper, get LSU maybe a couple wins.
Dude, I don't go back to high school to work on the jumper.
I don't even think he would help.
He's got to go back to high school, man. Like it's unbelievable. Like I'll go to the shoot arounds and watch him. Like I'm like, dude, like he really can't shoot. Like it's not like the dude really
Side of the backboard.
Yeah, like he can't shoot, man. Like I have seen him. I have never watched NBA players miss 5, 6, 7 shots in a row.
No, he's brutal. I agree. So we'll be back at you next week. Get ready for the Super Bowl, big weekend of college hoops. We'll be firing off some NBA. Yeah, we're gonna keep coming at you guys with content. This is awesome. All right, peace, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy the Super Bowl.
All right.
Did he upload?